Yeah. Awesome, thank you.
Yeah, need that line to make things that he knows. I mean, it's like, I'll be up there. Won't even turn on. Feels really warm. I know. I put it away in there.
What we did yesterday. You know what? Might go a lot smoother if you do. Here. Okay, thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. We're going to commence with the meeting of the Ethics Task Force. Madam Clerk, could you go through the agenda, read the first item?
First item A, roll call. Commissioner Kenlock.
Present.
Commissioner Dobb. Here. Chair Wilson.
Present.
You have a quorum present.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Next order.
B, chair's remarks.
Okay, just in brevity, I want to thank everyone for being here this afternoon. Especially, I want to thank you all who have served on the Ethics Board for the past years and all of the great work that you've all done. I've gone through some of the notes and I've looked at some of the illustrations, and you all have been doing a fantastic job. And I'm so proud and honored to sit here before you and to work this point forward with you to try and devise the type of language that we're all going to be proud of, and that when individuals who work for Wayne County go astray or engage in any type of infraction that's contrary to our ethics ordinance, there will be some punitive measures that are going to be taken. And so we shouldn't take that lightly. This is a big job. Obviously, when you have a decision to make that's going to impact somebody's well-being, you're not going to make a lot of friends, I guess. But I am definitely glad to be here, and I'm definitely glad to be able to be a part of making that type of commitment. So with that being said, that concludes the chair's remarks. Next order of business.
C, approval of the April 30th, 2026 meeting minutes.
Move.
I entertain a motion.
Support.
Okay. Moved by Commissioner Dobbs, supported by Commissioner Kinlock. Any discussion? Okay, we'll take a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Any abstentions? Stands approved. Next order of business.
D, unfinished business. There is none listed. Moving to item 1 under new business. Communication from the Wayne County Ethics Board recommending revisions to the Wayne County Ethics Ordinance.
Okay, so now we're going to get into the meat of why we are here. Could I please have the ethic board members take the table up here, please? And hold on one moment. He's going to get your name tag. So come up and take a seat, please. Thank you. Nope. Yes.
Yeah, I'm not gonna put them out, so.
Okay, you're good. All right. Okay, for introduction purposes, could we go around the room, go around the table, I'm sorry, starting with you, sir, and go around and introduce yourself to the audience?
Peter Rages.
Your capacity?
Yeah, that's.
Okay.
Microphone's on too.
Microphone, I'm sorry. Thank you. Microphones, please. Thank you.
Hi. Okay.
Go back again, sir, one more time.
Sure. Peter Rages, member of the Ethics Board, appointed by Mr. Youngblood.
Okay, gotcha. Thank you, ma'am.
Good afternoon. I am Keitra Lewis, the chairman of the Ethics Board.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Attorney. Good afternoon to this honorable board. My name is Attorney Charles Longstreet II. I am the outside counsel for the Wayne County Ethics Board.
Thank you, sir. Next.
Good afternoon. I'm Siham Awada Jafer, appointed by Prosecutor Kim Worthy to the Ethics Board.
Awesome.
Good afternoon. I'm Maria Muhammad, appointed by Wayne County Treasurer Eric Sabri.
Okay, thank you. And do we have anybody online? Anybody on Zoom that is tuning in? I understand maybe a member that's online. Okay. Okay, thank you. So what we're going to do at this point in time is it's very important to us to understand your communication that was dated November 17th, 2022, looks like, from the Wayne County Ethics Board, recommending revisions to the Wayne County Ethics Ordinance. So what I want to do is just sort of do a round robin here to determine who and why you think certain changes are necessary or need to be modified in terms of the ordinance. And please feel free to let us know. So wherever you want to start at.
On behalf of the Wayne County Ethics Board, I was part of the initial subcommittee to make revisions to the Wayne County Ethics Board. It was first introduced in 2019 by Dr. Susan Carnell. We were the second group that looked at revisions to the Wayne County Ethics Ordinance in 2022. We did a comprehensive review of the Wayne County Ethics Ordinance. The main purposes of requesting changes and additions to the Wayne County Ethics Ordinance was to strengthen the investigative and punitive powers of the Wayne County Ethics Board. Upon looking at the Wayne County Ethics Ordinance, it does have some enforcement rules in it. However, there is no means in which we are allowed to investigate complaints. The totality of our function is based upon what we receive from citizens in regards to their complaints. The evidence that we receive is all evidence that is garnered from complainants, and the evidence they provide us. We don't have any other means of fact finding in this investigative process. The purpose of requesting these changes is that we can have a more efficient, effective, and powerful Wayne County Ethics Board. Currently, the only thing we can do at this point is request additional information from witnesses, from the complainants in the case or respondents in the case, request that witnesses appear, request books and papers be presented, but actually have no powers to enforce anything. We don't have the powers to enforce witnesses to appear. We don't have the power to enforce requests for records or documents from public officials or other persons subject to Wayne County Ethics Board complaints. And we don't have any method or means in which to actually investigate the complaints themselves. I think we believe that the Wayne County Ethics Ordinance would be much more impactful if we actually had the means to investigate the complaints. How it currently stands is we receive a complaint, we receive evidence from complainants, we review that evidence, we make requests from the respondent to provide any information they have to support the complaint they have received, and we make our decisions based on everything that they gave us. There's oftentimes we find where there's additional information that could be sought that would be more helpful to the Wayne County Ethics Board in trying to determine whether there's been a violation of the Wayne County Ethics Ordinance. However, we don't have the power and or means to do so. We don't have investigative powers. We don't have a budget to spend on investigations. We don't have investigators. So we really don't have any means to actually dig into the facts of these complaints, actually get down to the bottom of what actually happened and provide a full, fair, and comprehensive recommendation to the Wayne County Ethics Board. Everything is completely relying upon what we receive from the complainants. That's it. The main crux of our request is specifically related to Section 40-7, addition of subsection D. The addition of subsection D would grant the Wayne County Ethics Board investigative authority. Subsection D, subparagraph E, would grant the Wayne County Ethics Board subpoena authority, and also grant us the powers to administrate oaths to witnesses. Currently, the only thing we do is bring a witness before the board, ask them to speak truthfully, and we get what we get. What we need now is truly the ability to find out what happened in these complaints, find out the real details in regards to what happened, so I can actually provide the Wayne County Ethics Board facts that will assist them in determining whether there's actually been a violation of the Wayne County Ethics Ordinance. The board did make additional amendments to the Wayne County Ethics Ordinance, including to eliminate any appearance of impropriety. We've added subsection 40-7, subsection 8A8, which will be disqualification of a board member. This essentially just indicates that if a public servant from which the board member has been appointed becomes subject of a complaint, that would allow mechanisms for that particular person to be disqualified from the deliberation process. We believe that makes it a clearer, fairer process where there's no appearances of impropriety. So that would be 40-7.
40-7.
40-7, A, subsection 8. Subparagraph 8. Currently, that doesn't exist. That currently does not.
Absolutely, okay.
that currently does not exist.
Okay.
You're probably looking at the printed version, but not the one that has the additions to it. But if you look under 47.
Do they have the red version?
Okay. It's over
They
here.
have the red line version?
It'll be 21, 22. It'd be page 21 and bottom of 21 and 22.
Okay, let's get a moment to catch up with you,
Oh,
there,
sorry.
Counselor. Okay.
That would be page 23, bottom of the paragraph. Bottom of the
Okay.
paragraph.
Ready, you got page 23 here.
Where it says disqualification of a board member.
Might start on the depending on-
It's on page 22 at the bottom.
22.
Under 8.
Yeah,
disqualification of board members.
that's correct. That is
Yeah.
in addition to the Wayne County Ethics Ordinance, which we believe will create would eliminate any appearances of impropriety, deal with issues of conflict of interest of a particular board member if the that member is represented by the person they were appointed. That person would be there would be mechanisms for that person to be disqualified from deliberations in that complaint. If we go down further to 40-6, 40-7, subsection D, is where we added investigative authority. Currently, if you look at 40-7E51, it does indicate that we have some requests for investigations. However, that power isn't really enforced by anything. It just simply says that we get to ask for more information or witnesses that would assist us in our investigation, but we don't have investigative powers. And that's where this is clarified by subsection D, which would give us the authority, to actually do investigations prior to actually any recommendations to the Wayne County Ethics Board. The process would be that we would receive the complaint. Then we would actually do an investigation into the complaint, along with receiving information from the respondent, investigate the facts, and then provide the Wayne County Ethics Board with the proper information so they can make a decision on whether there's been a violation of the Wayne County Ethics Ordinance. Furthermore, subsection E is the portion which we are requesting subpoena authority. It would appear, based on subsection E51, that we have implied authority already. As I take a review of the Wayne County Code of Ordinances and subpoena power, it indicates that the county commission may supply or may allow the Wayne County or any fact finder that has been appointed by the county commissioner or the chair of the county commission to appoint a fact finder, and that fact finder may be allowed to investigate, issue subpoenas for furtherance of any administrative proceedings that the county commission may have. That I would assume would include the Wayne County Ethics Board. So I think the power may already exist. I just think it may be something that the board needs to add to the Wayne County Ethics Ordinance to make it clear that we would have the subpoena power through the Wayne County Commission chair to request witnesses to appear and it be enforced by the Wayne County by the Wayne County Commission. Furthermore, we don't have any mechanism in which we swear witnesses to put them under the penalties of perjury. Currently, everything is volunteer. If a person wants to come in and be less than candid with the Wayne County Ethics Board, there would be no enforcement for their violation for providing proper candor to the Wayne County Ethics Board. They could just say what they want to without any repercussion. So that is the main crux of what the Wayne County Ethics Board is looking for and why this was submitted to the Wayne County Commission for consideration of changes to the Wayne County Ethics Ordinance. We did make other corrections to the Wayne County Ethics Ordinance in regards to certain definitions. However, the most pertinent piece is our ability to investigate. And also, we don't really have any punitive authority. The only thing we can do at this point is assess a civil infraction of $500. But actually, if the person doesn't pay it, there is an enforcement on not paying the $500 fine. We can make suggestions to any public servant or elected official in regards to what should happen to an employee who violates the Wayne County Ethics Ordinance. But those are merely suggestions. It would ultimately be up to the elected official, human resources, or the department head to make the determination of whether there should be an enforcement of what the Wayne County Ethics Board suggests. So the only thing we really have to do is the power to suggest and nothing more as it currently stands.
Okay. Thank you, Counselor. I appreciate your dissertation. It's a lot that you unpacked, but at the end of the day, the legislative body is the Wayne County Commission, And I'm very appreciative of the suggestions and recommendations that you made. We have some as well, but we're gonna figure out how to get to the end result so everybody can be happy. But having said that, I want to identify Commissioner Dobb. I think she has a commentary, and then Commissioner Kinlock.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I would like to ask our commission counsel regarding the sections D, E, and F, the investigative authority, subpoena authority, and the oath administered to witness. Is the ethics board, is it legally and or appropriate for the ethics board to have investigative authority, subpoena authority, and administer oaths to witnesses in what they're suggesting here?
So through the chair to this honorable body, I'm gonna start with a little history. When this ordinance was initially enacted, there was discussion regarding these very same topics, the type of authority to give the ethics board and the penalties that the ethics board could potentially impose. At that time, there were some legal concerns with regards to whether or not you could actually empower an independent body such as the ethics board of members that from the public essentially that are appointed to be the ethics board, if you can empower them to do those things. At that time, it was determined that that was not appropriate, so was not included in the ordinance. So with regards to that same issue now, my understanding and my office and our staff has looked at this a few times, trying to figure out with all of the ethics boards in the state, who actually have that authority and the basis for that authority. Because the question becomes, what is the legal basis to give someone that type of authority? We found that there were a few counties, including the city of Detroit, who have that authority, but their authority is based on their charter. It's in their charter that they have these authorities. So that is their legal law, the authority for the ethics board having that power. We also found that I think it was Oakland County where they run their ethics through the actual legislative body. So they either one have a subcommittee or they I think it was, I'm trying to look at my chart because I created a chart for myself. So yeah, Oakland County, I believe they do it through the legislative body. So then there's no issue, because if the legislative body by law is empowered to do it, then obviously the ethics committee that they have is. Then we have others who have create ethics panels, but then they run all the recommendations back through the legislative body. So really it's only the two that we found that have it are based on the charter. So the question becomes, what is the legal authority to do so? Then the question becomes, because this body commission has it, can you delegate that authority? I do not believe legally you can delegate that type of authority to another entity. So then the question becomes, how do we work with the ethics board based on the powers that the commission has to then somehow assist them in their ability to do, for example, subpoenas. So as written, I do not think that the current ordinance, subpoena ordinance as written, would actually be applicable to the ethics board. However, that's not to say that we cannot change that to somehow allow the chair of the commission to then issue subpoenas and somehow assist the ethics board. We'll have to figure out the process. But I think the ordinance would have to be changed in order to do that. As far as investigations, we would probably still have to have further conversations about that. Maybe the investigation is simply the ability to subpoena. But again, even the commission's ability to subpoena, if no one follows it, we have to go to court. So it's not like we're the end all be all, even if we issued a subpoena ourselves.
Okay. And
Okay, follow up. Okay, go ahead, Commissioner Dobb.
thank you. Would that also go with punitive authority?
So the penalties, that gets a little tricky, right? So because a majority of the county is made up of union employees, and I'm gonna just throw out a percentage, let's say 80%, I don't know. It's very difficult for anyone to impose something on a union employee unless that's bargained into their collective bargaining agreement. So I think for most of the county, majority of the county, that's probably not even a realistic option. And we can talk to human relations to see, but I don't believe that we can empower the ethics board to impose something on the collect or on union employees for obvious reasons. Then that leaves appointees of elected officials and elected officials themselves. There is it was indicated the ability to fine. How do you enforce that? I mean, even if the commission issued a fine, how will we enforce it? We probably got to go to court. I mean, it's a process. So I'm not sure what ideas exactly that the ethics board has. Is something that we can continue to look at, but I'm not sure exactly how much as far as teeth we can give the body.
Okay. So it would be more of making a recommendation to the legislative body.
Or to the appointing authority. So if it were an appointee of the executive branch, let's say in a department, then you would recommend that back to the CEO.
Mhm.
Would the CEO be willing to give the ethics board the ability to fire someone that I mean, I don't know that you can do that, right? You say you want to fine someone, but then if they don't pay the fine, how do you collect the fine? You take it out of their paycheck. I don't know that you can do that. And then if they don't pay a person, so you get into this roundabout of exactly how do you actually provide the teeth and make it practical and actually make it work?
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Dobb. Very interesting response. Go ahead, Commissioner Kinlock.
So just years ago when this ethics board was created, it was created at a time where there was a lot of concern that was going on as it relates to the conduct, behavior, and operations of employees and agents of the county. You had people drafting or who weighed in on the drafting of this ordinance who individuals had concerns about. And so from the very beginning, a lot of folks did not have faith or trust and confidence of this ordinance when it was crafted. If you're going to create a body that has the ability to take up concerns raised as it relates to ethics and or conduct, that body has to have the ability to operate. This ordinance, as it's currently written, has a body that is just riddled with issues as far as I'm concerned, even from the first front door of how the board members are appointed and exist.
Yeah.
You need to have a body with this type of responsibility, both independent and have the ability of not having its hands tied behind its back. We're the legislative body, and one thing I seem to have since I've been a commissioner is you have to remind a lot of folks around here that we're the legislative body, which means that we have the ability to legislate. And within the framework of what is customarily understood legislative bodies in this country to have, you have what's called direct power. That's the power to come directly from the people through the Constitution and or the a charter, a home rule charter, so actions by your state statute or whatever. So that's the direct power, where it's clearly codified as it relates to what your role is. And the reason why it's important for us to understand is because the responsibility of placing authority and creating entities that have the ability to do whatever comes from the legislative body. There's direct power, as I stated. Then there is inherent power. And I was under the impression, and when I was on the Board of Education, we created the Office of Inspector General, that we wrote into there that the Inspector General has the ability to have subpoena power. That because the school boards have both legislative and executive power, and everyone that exists within the school district has the authority that is delegated to them by the Board of Education. So all power comes from the board; they delegate it to the superintendent. And so what I'm trying to say is that if we have as a legislative body inherent and direct authority to subpoena, then we absolutely, if we're creating this body, can designate or authorize subpoena power towards this agency, towards an agency of the legislative body, and legislative branch. And so I think I think that the way that this was structured in a way that really created this body with its hands tied behind its back. I believe that there's some changes that need to be made to make this more useful for the benefit of the general public, but also beneficial for the time of the people who go and serve on this ethics board. So there's some we hear you.
Yep.
And there's some thoughts that we have been having among ourselves, and this from the hearing from the general public. And we definitely understand that it has to be an independent board especially where you don't have to disqualify board members. There should not be a situation where you have to be disqualified in order to carry out the duties of your office, but also for you to be able to carry out the real intent of the duties of your office. How are you going to investigate? How are you going to have fact finders without having fact finders? And so there's a number of things that's got to be some conversation as it relates to how it has been operating and make it operating more efficient, which may include having some appropriation conversations. But that's what I want to say, that there will be some recommendations even at this meeting that would speak to creating a clear direction, clear authority. We need to begin to have that conversation as it relates to this ethics board. Thank you. That concludes my comment.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Kinlock. Very well stated. Commissioner Peterson Mayberry, please.
Thank you. So my colleagues have pretty much summed up my comments as well. I know when I first got on the commission, I had a couple of conversations with some of the board members, and I sensed frustration because no, you're not compensated for this, but your time is priceless. And so, for the community to have a board as important as this, there needs to be a space where people feel very confident about the information shared, but that there's due process in the entire, and it just seems like it's almost like a listening board. You listen, you hear, but you're really restricted in terms of what you could do. So several of my comments have already been made. So I will just say, as we move forward with the recommendations, to my colleague Kinlock's point, when you oftentimes are appointed by certain departments, and those may be some of the departments that you now find yourself having to investigate. And so there is that space of discomfort and I think resistance in being able to carry it out fully if you're looked upon as, well, I appointed you, and so now you're investigating me. So I think there's plenty of spaces that we can do, Mr. Chair, some edits to make sure that this is, one, worth your time. Two, people have a full vote of confidence in you, because that's another narrative that's like, oh, well, they can't do anything. That's a narrative, unfortunately, that is being associated. And I think time is too important for us to just have a listening board. If that's the case, then, that's something that we could do that doesn't have to go through all the formalities. So, Mr. Chair, I'm ready for some of the recommendations that the committee will make as well. And so thank you for your time. If you don't hear it, we appreciate you and your time you've dedicated to this at this board.
Thank you. Thank you, Commissioner. Okay. All right. Before Mr. Longstreet goes, I want to say my colleagues are absolutely correct. We all want to see an effective ethics board. We all want to see you able to make determinations without fear of reprisals or retribution or somebody trying to get back at you. So that's very difficult in the situation that you are in right now, based on how you've been established. So I think we have some ideas about how to improve upon that, to sort of get you an opportunity to be able to make impartial decisions versus making decisions based on pressure from an individual or individuals who may have or may not have appointed you. So that was just my tidbit. Longstreet, Council, you'd like to add something to that?
The only thing I wanted to make comment on was comments made by Council Johnson in reference to where the powers come from.
Mm-hmm.
And ultimately, I did take a review of several municipalities, ordinance, ethics ordinance, and specifically Macomb County, which is our closest neighbor. Oakland County, Washington County don't have ethics boards. So the only one that really has one is Macomb County, and they receive their power through the county charter. So I would think it would be pertinent for the county commission to consider a simple change in the county code that would allow us to have subpoena power. I think an amendment of Rule 61, Ordinance 61, subparagraph 2, and also County Commission Rule number 29. An amendment to those two would just simply saying that the Ethics Board appointed by the County Commission has the power to subpoena.
Okay, thank you. Uh,
So,
Counselor?
so through the difference is that Detroit, the city of Detroit and Macomb County's charters say, to your point, that they have the power. So we can't change an ordinance to give you that. We would have to change our charter, which requires a vote of the people. I just want to be clear, that's an option for this body if you want to put out a charter amendment, but it's not as simple as changing the ordinance. We would actually have to go seek a change to the charter, which is a vote of the people.
Well, I believe that the Wayne County Commission can grant us whatever power they want to, put it in front of the people, put it on the ballot. Then I would implore that this board come up with the changes to put on the ballot. I don't
Okay.
think anybody's going to be against
I think
any
we
corruption.
hear you, Council, and we've heard our council as well. So these are all comments and recommendations and suggestions that we all are going to take very, 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 very seriously. So thank you for that, Counselor. Are there any other discussions on the powers of the board? Because I'm looking at my agenda here, and I think you speaking for the collective group.
I am.
Okay, so you all just okay.
For support.
Well, I didn't. Okay,
Yes,
I
ditto.
appreciate that. Okay, so any more discussion from the commissioners here? Because we have some information here that we all can kind of deliberate.
Mr. Chair, the only
Yes.
other thing is I know it was mentioned that there's no budget. And so I know as we start talking, if there are spaces and line items, that
we're gonna, so when we get to different sections,
we'll talk about, okay,
Yeah,
thank you.
thank you. Okay, Commissioner, Counselor, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Through the chair, because there is. So this ordinance itself wouldn't speak to funding, right? It generally talks about, and we'll get to this section in a moment, where it
Yeah.
talks about support for the ethics board, but I think you should note that there is money within the commission's budget that is set aside for several entities, including, I think, the ethics board, right? There is some funding, obviously, they're paying for outside counsel, so there's the level of funding, but I want to say that there's no specific county line item for any board, but there has been considerations made that if something came up, there has been a pot of money set aside for several boards that could potentially be pulled from. And depending on how this turns out, if powers change, that amount may have to change in the future.
Okay.
But there's no way to really appropriate directly to them, but there is a pot that could be pulled from.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Peterson Mayberry, and thank you, Counselor Johnson. All right, Madam Clerk, next item.
Item 2, discussion of the powers of the Ethics Board.
Okay, I think we just pretty much extensively discussed that. Next item.
Item 3, review of the Ethics Ordinance, Section 40-7A, establishment of the Ethics Board.
Pardon me. Hey, I like to see them at the table. They looking great. They can stay there if they want. I don't have a problem with it. Cool. I mean, unless you. What do you? Hey, what do you sit back in the front row and sit at the front table? It don't matter to me. You all good here? Okay, they're good stewards. They'll be fine. Thank you, Commissioner Kinlock. All right. Okay, so review of ethics ordinance, section 4-7A, 1 through 9, establishment of the ethics board. So I do have some suggestions here that have been deliberated on number 40-7 ethics board under A, establishment of the ethics board. I've made a few changes here, some cosmetic, some substantial. So if you look down at line number 13, where it talks to it says shall not be a relative or domestic partner of a. Yes, go ahead, Council. I'm sorry. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes. I'm sorry. Thank you, Counselor.
Taking into consideration some of the requests and revisions we've received in general.
Thank you, Counselor.
Pass around.
Share.
No, I really want some guys something to do.
Yeah, sure, Counselor. You can take a seat up here if you like. I'd like to have you closer to us. Thank you. Councilor Johnson, feel free to go right through it.
So through the chair to this honorable body, just to explain the deletion of domestic partner. So throughout the entire ordinance, issues like 30 times. So what we're going to suggest is that you just roll that into the definition of relative. So every time you say relative, you don't have to keep expounding upon it. It'll just be more concise. So when you get to the definition section, you'll see that that'll be added once we get to that portion. With regards to compensation, we are recommending some language to allow for parking.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry, can we go back to the taking out domestic partner?
Okay, line 14.
Okay, sorry, can you explain that again?
So it's not being taken out of the ordinance. The way the ordinance is written, if you go through the entire document, every time you say relative, you also say domestic partner. It's like 30 times.
Okay.
What we're going to do is for the definition of relative, we're going to include domestic partner. So it's not excluded. It's just
Okay.
not, it's just a
You're
little
not
more
saying
concise.
relative or domestic
Right.
partner.
So
Okay.
it'll still stay in the ordinance in the end.
Okay, thank you.
So you'll see that in several sections we'll talk about at some point. But again, once we get to definitions, you'll see we're adding it to the definition of relative. So it's still relevant and still a part of it.
Thanks for clarification. Okay,
So
do proceed.
So with regards to subsection 2, with regards to compensation, while we understand that the ethics board does not receive compensation, we have made efforts, I believe, in the past to provide parking. And we want to make sure that we were trying to memorialize that in here. So whether it's parking at First Street Garage, which would be free, if First Street is not, for whatever reason, we're not able to accommodate, or we can find better accommodations, then the chairwoman can authorize better accommodations. Sometimes it's a little more difficult working with some of the garages around here we found with other boards and getting access easily for like the Buell across the street. We've had difficulties in the past, but we're leaving it open to either First Street or some other accommodations, depending on what we can work out, because we have to work it out sometimes with multiple boards. So we wanted to make sure that parking was clearly provided to the members.
Okay.
The next one, organization, just some clarifications regarding quorum, that is members serving, is a majority serving. I think they operate in this manner currently, but just clarifying that portion. Number 4, reporting requirements. So right now they're required to do an annual report and it's due by December 15th. But December 15th isn't the end of the year. So you kind of want to make sure the report has an opportunity to include the entire year. So we were thinking changing the date to January 31st, unless you all want a different date. But just making it, December 15th just didn't seem to
Helps me.
make sense.
Okay.
The next one, removal, again, just saying it should be in writing, no change really there. So then we get to the notion of disqualification of a member, which the board did suggest. And what we're suggesting, what my office is suggesting, is a slightly different version, but just to make it clear that if a board member has a personal interest or a duty of loyalty or a relationship, that member, just like with this board and other boards, you need to recuse yourself. We want to make sure that that's clear in here. It's not the process that the body was seeking, as far as like someone who submits a complaint can recommend you come off. I think that could get very complicated, but if we're trying to put a duty on the individuals who are part of this ethics board to say, hey, if you know you have a conflict of some nature, to disqualify yourself. We also have to remember it's a 7-member board. So even if they don't, you still have 6 other members. So hopefully that won't impact the overall outcome. But we did try to take into consideration the concern because it was a valid concern. Just slightly different from what was suggested by the board.
Sure.
And then that would take me down to section B, but I think that may be another item on my agenda item. So yeah, so that's the next agenda item, unless someone has something else for these particular sections.
Okay, thank you, Council, for that. Yeah, that's gonna, I got that right. I'm reading that's gonna go, I got, right. Okay. Okay, so I do have a suggestion here, and given the fact that we've all been talking pretty extensively about your authority and your jurisdiction, your powers, if you will, as a ethic board members, and maybe some of the maybe mental difficulties that you may be experiencing in trying to vote against or rule against someone who's appointed you, that becomes very, very awkward, I'm sure. So the suggestion that I have before me is, and again, these are suggestions, we're all going to be talking about it, but 3 members should be nominated by countywide elected office holder. So 3 members. We have 7, so we got 3 members we suggestion should be nominated by a countywide elected office holder. 2 members shall be an active or retired judge, a member of the Michigan Bar Association, or an active or retired MCO's licensed officer. And then the other 2 members would be invariably from the general public. They have a vested interest in making sure that the ethics board is functioning as it's constituted. And if we have 2 members from the general public who are also part of this board, I think that would help us get to where we need to get to in terms of getting a satisfactory resolve on some of these complaints that are coming before you and that'll continue to come before you. So that's okay. Commissioner Kinlock, would you like to add something to that, please?
Yes, Mr. Chair. So, the points that you've made are absolutely well taken. And at this time, I would like to make a motion requesting for staff to draft a proposed amendment to Section 40-7, changing the composition makeup as it relates to the members of the board to provide for language to be added to the ethics ordinance and all other relevant sections of the ethics ordinance to provide for 3 members shall have been nominated by a countywide elected office holder, 2 members who shall be an active or retired judge, a member of the Michigan Bar Association, or an active or retired MCO's licensed officer, and 2 members from the general public. Mr. Chair, I also like to add that this composition of appointments should take place upon the expiration of the current terms of the current members. So what it will provide for each individual who's currently serving to continue to serve out their term, but for the appointment process, this appointment process to begin upon the expiration of the first member's term. So I'd like staff to begin to draft the necessary and appropriate language to effectuate this in a proposed draft, because it's just a draft. And then we would, of course, could go through the process of getting feedback from the public as we make these changes as we go along.
Okay, motion by Commissioner
We need
Kinlock
a
to
motion.
adapt that language. There any
Well, I made the motion.
Well, also,
support by
we don't need it.
motion by okay.
No, I'm just saying the direction. I'm saying I want to at least be
Okay.
on the record. Yeah.
Okay. Motion supported. Any further discussion? Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Okay. Thank you, Commissioner Kinlock.
Thank you.
And Dobb and ready here. Okay, so next order of business, Madam Clerk.
Item 4, review of the Ethics Ordinance, Section 40-7B, Open Meetings Act.
Okay, Counselor, defer to you.
Through the chair, just adding the Freedom of Information Act, the board is subject to FOIA. We've responded to FOIA over the years, just adding that to the ordinance.
Okay. Any other discussion around that topic? Okay, thank you. Next item of business.
Item 5, review of Ethics Ordinance, Section 40-7G, Advisory Opinions.
Go right ahead.
Again, through the chair, just a few revisions to tighten it and make it clear as far as saying completing sentences and the such. Also clarifying that it's calendar days, which I believe was also a recommendation of the ethics board. One item I will point out to the board is that the current ordinance does allow for advisory opinions to be requested anonymously. They don't have to be. And I don't know, and that is not to engage them. I know that they're here, but I don't know that and I can't recall if you've had one, but if you have an advisory opinion and it's anonymous, then how do we let people know that it's been issued? I mean, should we put something in here that talks about posting it on the website and so people will know where it's going to be located? Obviously, if they identify themselves and you know how to get to them because you may have contact information.
So,
Okay, Mr. Kinlock?
so that I always am challenged by this anonymous situation. And so, Madam, I'd like for you to take that out. We need to take the anonymous part out. Because, like you just said, you don't know where it's coming from. I mean, if it's something truly that you're trying to get clarified, we're talking about ethics. Why would you have to submit something anonymous? This is not the whistleblower provision. This is not the whistleblower ordinance, I guess. But I'm just saying, so anonymous, you should be straightforward and forthwith, if you're trying to get some clarification on something. It should be, the question should be tied to someone and some issue.
Thank you, Commissioner Kinlock. Commissioner Peterson Mayberry, please.
Thank you. And I hear my colleague, and I think the anonymous part is because of repercussions and retaliation, right? So coming from labor, there oftentimes are anonymous hotlines. If somebody's been mistreated, an investigation will spark. But to your point, it's often, how do you identify a person to get the findings back to? So if it's not in this space, I think that's what the anonymous part always gives people another layer of comfort to say, I'll tell if I'm not gonna be the one in the face.
That's a whistleblower piece, and I'm saying a whistleblower is one thing there. This one here is clarity on conduct, clarity on a rule or guidance, and so everyone should. This is not a repercussion situation. It's just a general question that you're asking for clarification.
I think, and so thank you, because I think that part, that clarity is, is necessary.
Absolutely.
But just oftentimes people will get labeled if they're even the ones who are starting to ask questions about certain things. Then it's like, well, that had to have been that person. And so I just wanted to lift that up too.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Peterson Mayberry. If I can just input something, anonymity is very, very, I guess it's powerful, right? Because if you see something that's happening and you're afraid to identify yourself, but it's still happening, and you want to make sure it's revealed. And if you're working for someone who's very retaliatory, obviously they're going to be looking for you if you start pointing fingers at them. So I understand the concept behind it, but then again, who's to say someone can make something up, and they can fabricate, they can ruin your life by sort of dispersing falsifications against you. So it's somewhat of a two-headed sword, I guess. But I do see the counselor going to want to say something, Commissioner Dobb.
So
Counselor,
I want to clarify that you seek an advisory opinion based on your own conduct, not on someone else's conduct. And so that's similar to like the city of Detroit and others, where you can seek an advisory opinion. Maybe your supervisor or something's happening and you want to make sure that you're covered before you take on that action. So you can seek an advisory opinion about your conduct, not necessarily someone else's conduct. And then they say you could do it anonymously. Some communities, I provided a chart of a few communities to show you the ones that allow anonymous, the ones that don't. The one that doesn't says that they'll do their best to keep your information private. The problem with that is with FOIA, I don't know how private you can really keep someone's information all of the time, or at least their name. But I just wanted to clarify, it's about your own personal conduct, and if you have a question about not in someone else's.
so Counselor, since we got you on the mic, can you sort of give us the definition of whistleblower versus this anonymity?
And I know
Anonymous.
we'll get to the
So it's kind of
whistleblower situation. Is that if I'm reporting wrongdoing, misconduct about the office, someone stealing, the boss is doing something wrong, that you can't retaliate against me. This is just saying that I'm not certain, an employee of the county, and I'm just not certain that I should be doing something, or if it fits within the rules. And I don't want to violate, because I don't want y'all coming after me. I want no complaints. So I want to ask them before I do it, is it okay? And so you issue an opinion saying whether it is okay. Now, whether you want them to do it anonymously or not is up to this body. If it is anonymous, I would suggest we do something where people know that at least it'll be posted on the website and they'll know where to find it. So everyone will know, maybe it'll be guidance for others, not just that individual, depending on what it is. And if it's not anonymous, then obviously you'll know, the board will know how to get that information back to the person. But that part is up to this body.
Okay, so we probably need to clarify this language because average layman probably might get a little confused or confounded. But anyway, Commissioner.
Thank you, and thanks for that. I do know, even if you're inquiring about your own behavior, it still can be tracked back. So the fact that they have that in this language, and I know they're not speaking now, but maybe during public comment, I don't know, because there has to be a reason that it's in here. You know, and if there's a reason that we need to challenge it, let's do that. But I think that we should find out why there's been language around that in the first place, and we do that during public comment. But even to say, I mean, if I say all of a sudden I'm trying to find out about, I don't know, FMLA. So now my supervisor is now on alert. Oh, if you're asking about FMLA, maybe you can go out on FMLA, and it's my own behavior, but now things start happening a little bit differently. So we can at that time, but I'm just wondering why that language was in there around that part too.
Okay.
Okay, I think Commissioner Dow, you had something, and then I'll go to Commissioner Kinlock.
I'm also, Commissioner Council answered my question.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner.
I'm going back
Kinlock,
to
please.
I'm going back to the point of when this was drafted. So folks wanted to create different shadows or places where they could hide. And no, I'm just saying, I mean, I've been around the county a long time. It is not necessary. The point, you're talking about the part of an advisory opinion, trying to get clarity as it relates to your conduct. And so there's no other place in a whistleblower, any place where you can basically hide. I'm just where you can hide. So all I'm saying is that it needs to be clear. The whole purpose of the ethics ordinance to basically bring questions and issues to light, not just for that individual, but for everybody. To basically be able to follow those advisory opinions. And so there shouldn't be a reason for you to have to anonymously ask for a conduct unless you're trying to continue a conduct and not potentially have that person have that ruling tied to you. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Okay.
It gives you the choice of whether you're going to abide by or not, because it's not tied to you.
Okay. Okay, thank you, Commissioner Kinlock. Appreciate that. All right, this is pretty fruitful discussion. Any more determinations at the table here? Okay, thank you all very much for that. Next order of business, Madam Clerk.
F, such other matters as may be properly submitted before the task force.
Go ahead.
How did we want to move with it?
Clarification.
Sure.
Drafting. So for this anonymous, non-anonymous, I don't know that I got clarification.
Okay.
Are we keeping it or are we not keeping it?
Okay, I would like to take it out.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
That's
you
what
like to take off the end, take out the
Okay.
end. Everybody's good with that?
Absolutely. I'm just saying.
Yes, I agree.
Everybody's good with that?
Yes, okay.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Okay. So yes, okay. I think we're good. All right. Thank you. Okay, next.
Moving back to F, such other matters as may be properly submitted before the task force.
I don't know if anybody, I have no idea. There's nothing in front of me. Is there some, Commissioner Dow? Oh, I thought you were saying you had such other matters as properly submitted before the task force. Okay. Let me make sure you guys get finished first and then I'll go ahead. You good? Everybody's good? Okay, that's okay. I appreciate it. I get a little confused when 20,000 people are talking. Okay, so thank you very much for that. All right. Okay, so next order of business, Madam Clerk.
G, public comments.
Okay, do we have anyone who is on Zoom at this time?
There's no one on Zoom indicating that they would like to speak.
Okay, do we have anyone on the phone lines?
No one on the phone.
Okay, is there anyone in the chamber who wishes to speak?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, Mr. Longstreet, how you doing, man? Long time no see.
On behalf of the ethics board, there's just a couple concerns in regards to the issue of anonymity. First being the reason why we have the reason why the anonymity clause is in the ethics ordinance to allow persons to get information without letting their identity be known. And where I can see where it could be issues, certain as someone may ask for. I've only done 5 advisory opinions since I've been the attorney of the ethics board. And some of them have to do with employment and seeking other employment. So it may be the fear that, okay, I'm seeking a new job. I got my name out there, Charles Long. You looking for no job? Oh, you looking for a new job? You don't like it? You don't like it here? Well, we could put you in the bathroom duty now. So you may have an issue where you could be retaliated in that instance. The other issue is I'm a criminal defense attorney, and my issue is self-incrimination. Perhaps you might want to get some information about what you're doing before you tell on yourself. So you might want to just come in and say, "Hey, is this a violation of the ethics ordinance?" So you can determine, okay, well, this is conduct I need to stop, or conduct I don't need to get into. But I think allowing that person to get that information anonymously allows that person to get the information they want, act in accordance to the ethics ordinance without putting themselves in any grave danger of losing their job. So I think it's important that there needs to be some level of anonymity in regards to advisory opinions. Now, in regards to complaints, I think it's imperative that we have some level of anonymity, obviously, because there could be some retaliation in regards to employment. So I think some level of anonymity is important on both levels.
Okay. Well, customarily, we don't go back and forth in public comment, but I seem like you itching you want to have something to say, Commissioner? Okay, you good? Okay. All right. Well, it's gonna make an exception, but you good? All right. Everybody's good? Okay. Thank you. All right. Well, I really appreciate that. Next order of business. Any board members? They haven't said a word all day, so I figured I would miss that. There. Oh, here we go. All right. All right, Ms. Jafer. How you doing, Ms. Jafer?
I'm doing well.
Good to see
Thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioner Wilson,
Sure.
and thank you all as commissioners for seeing the importance of this conversation and the real impactful discussion that we've had today. I think I'm the newbie on the board, but just reviewing how we operate, I felt a little bit less than effective. And so I really believe that this process is so pertinent and so important. And thank you, Commissioner Kinlock, for your words. I do believe that you stated it exactly how we have interpreted our time. And thank you, Commissioner Barry, as well. Our time is valuable, and we want to be effective with the time that we put into this process. And being a listening board is, I don't think, on our agenda. So we appreciate the fact that you are allowing you are allowing us to do this job seriously and with passion. I belong to a couple of other boards that are similar to the ethics board, and when we walk into that boardroom, we know we're going to make a difference, and we know that we have the authority to impact compliance and consequences, and so that is so important. So thank you for this process and for moving forward with it.
Thank you, Ms. Jafer. Appreciate that. Looks like the chairperson is itching at the butt.
Yes, I'll just say, and ditto to the sentiments that Ms. Jafa said, I worked on the original submission of these changes in 2022. And yeah, we did a lot of work with the subcommittee. So it's really great to see the energy behind these changes and the discussion. And I'm looking forward to future meetings and discussions. So thank you all for your dedication to make sure that we are working on behalf of the Wayne County residents.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. All right. Thank you. Any other further comments? Tony, you say something, Tony Guerrero? I thought I saw your hand up. Tony Guerrero, he used to be go ahead. Oh, that's all right. Take the floor, Tony. Tony used to be an ethics board member himself, I believe, chair. So Tony, he wasn't chair? He's a member. Oh, I thought he was the chair. I'm sorry. Excuse me, Tony. Didn't mean to demote you.
I appreciate the work that this task force is doing, and I appreciate the work that the committee has done over the years. I just have one suggestion, and it is a suggestion. We may want to consider, when we do have an opening on the board, that we put a time limit on a appointment to fill that vacancy.
Oh, okay.
Doesn't appear to be any time limit whatsoever, but that's something that you may want to consider.
It's a year right now.
Does it show a year?
It's a year?
Is it?
That's the appointment.
Okay, yeah, he's right. We need to get a time limit. We don't have one, I think. Okay, a reasonable time limit. Okay,
I'll defer to Mr. Longstreet, but if in fact it is a year, I think.
Wait a minute, let me.
Yeah.
okay, it's just, okay. I think Counselor Johnson, please.
Years and you can.
4 years?
and You can serve two
Two
terms, so
consecutive.
you can serve up to up to 8 years. And I guess the other point. So,
Okay, be appointed twice?
Can't be
Okay.
consecutive term.
I guess, so they're about to get some, okay, here we go.
Okay, so, yes, yes, please.
So the way it's written now, it says 2 consecutive terms. So theoretically, you can serve 2 consecutive terms, go away and come back. Is that the desire of this body, or do you want to max out at 8 years?
Okay, we'll be discussing. Okay,
One member,
all right,
one member did actually that happen.
Okay.
One of the current members.
okay,
Oh, 30 days.
okay.
30 days, sorry.
Okay.
30 days to vacancy.
Pardon me, Longstreet?
It's 30 days, so you have 30 days in which to fill a vacancy.
Okay. Okay, all right, thank you. Thanks, Tony, for.
Pardon me? Yeah, your seat was
Okay.
open for a year.
Okay, all right. Well, thank you, thank you, thank you. Next order of business,
Adjournment.
motion to adjourn is always in order.
Move to adjourn.
Move, supported. Move, properly supported by Ken Lock.